So many of our customers are traditional. So one leader will be responsible for a number of different people, and they will do all of the leadership tasks related to targets and process and people development and people management. Some of our customers split these two areas into what we can call direct and indirect leadership, or lateral and direct leadership. And so direct leadership would be managed by team leaders, and indirect or lateral leadership, examples of job roles would be product engineers, product owners, product managers, systems architects, pre-sales experts, etc. And they also have leadership responsibility because they lead a part of the process, a part of the product, and they get other people to work on their projects and goals. And so, we have a couple of questions around what does coaching mean for that kind of environment.
It's really interesting, Tim. I have a question about this. If I am a lateral leader and I identify a coaching opportunity in someone else, how do I know whether it should be for me to lead that person through the coaching process, or whether it should be the responsibility of their direct leader?
We have a number of direct examples of this at the moment, where somebody who is responsible for an aspect of the product has identified a group of 3 people who don't have the skills necessary to get there, but they do have the skill, not those specific skills. And so he has requested from the team lead that he can have these people for a series of discussions over time in order to share his experience, to go into a coaching, mentoring type relationship with them in order to develop their skills in that area. And so that is a perfect example of where coaching can be used. It does require a lot of openness on behalf of the lateral lead and the direct lead.
And in the situation where a lateral leader wants to give coaching, is the first person that they should approach the direct leader of that person they want to coach?
Yes, definitely. And within the context of lateral direct leadership, I think a lot of companies struggle with the fact that the requirement for that relationship to be very strong is very often not given as much space or time or importance as it should be. So the connection and collaboration between lateral leads and team leads should always be very, very good, and the direct should always approach the lateral lead should always approach the direct lead, and to get permission, if you like, to have this discussion and this series of discussions with their people.
Cool. Sounds good. And I'm just kind of wondering, with the GROW model, are there any other ways that this model can be used?
There is a method of using it in a facilitation environment. So if you imagine a brainstorming meeting, and the purpose of the meeting is to find new ideas in order to achieve specific goals, then the GROW model can be used as a 4-stage, process of generating clear situation analysis, followed by what goals do we want to achieve, and then a lot of time on the actual brainstorming piece on the options. And in that way, yes, it can be used by both lateral and direct leads. And then it becomes more of a moderator's tool or a facilitator's tool in order to guide a group of people through that thinking process.
Cool. Sounds good.
And something else that I noticed in software companies, for instance, there is a possibility, if you are a lateral lead, you don't have really the responsibility to coach, but you can have the availability. And I've seen this in teams where people have reciprocal respect. I'm talking about lateral leads. And they just find themselves asking themselves questions all the time, asking the others questions that are in a lateral leadership position. So I think if you want to contribute and to the bigger team, think about it in terms of the big team, then you can definitely use the coach, use the Grow model, make yourself available to coach someone when someone needs it.
And a number of customers will use the phrase, would you like me for my advice, or do you need a sounding board?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that question at the beginning of the discussion really shows a great deal of maturity from the person and the organization. Do you just want me to give you my answers, or are you looking for a sounding board and a second perspective and a deeper and more substantial conversation? And so, if that can underline the principles of peer-to-peer coaching, if that can be brought into a mentoring program, then that's fantastic. Yeah, and certainly that's going to have a lot of impact on the organization.